I'm Steve Saylor, I'm blind, and if you're wondering how I'm able to play video games if I'm blind, if you take a look at the video here, you'll be able to see exactly what I see when I'm playing video games. Welcome to Blind Impressions. Today I'm taking a look at Ninja Theory's Bleeding Edge. This weekend, as I'm recording this, is the first beta, and I was able to get this through via Xbox Game Pass, and I tried it out for a little bit, and I wanted to check it out early before the actual release because I had found out on Twitter and through a Discord group that I'm part of that Ninja Theory actually put in a lot of effort into accessibility into this game. So as I basically do for these videos, I'm going to take a look at the settings and then I'm going to give my first impressions of accessibility on it. And if you want to be able to check out the video of me playing the game and actually seeing how well I do in each match, you can be able to check out the video here. So without any further ado, let's jump into this. Okay. Let's see. Oh my God. Okay. Hold. I am loving. Wait. 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 I am loving this. Accessibility options. Like, not even just settings, accessibility options? Please accept our end user license agreement. Okay, yes. Holy cow. Okay, high contrast mode when enabled, certain points of the interface would be visually adjusted to increase contrast. And it's disabled right now, but if I enable it, okay, I haven't seen anything, but oh my God, like they've got large text. They've got large text. Okay, dynamic backgrounds. When disabled, background elements no longer contain dynamic animations. All right, I'll keep that on for now, but that's cool. Colorblind mode off. Deuteranopia, Protonopia, Tritonopia. Okay. I like that option. Colorblind severity. Adjust the correction amount of on-screen colors from 0 to 10. Now that is dope. Okay, so on like I'm not colorblind, so I wouldn't be able to tell the difference with the how extreme or how the adjustment can be done, but that is impressive already. Like, hold on, let me just see if I can. Okay, all right. Oh, I see. Okay, so basically it just like it kind of increases the intensity of or yeah, basically the kind of the level of how much colorblind mode should be added. Oh my gosh. Okay, text to speech. Turn on text to speech to have your chat text read aloud to players. Sure. Yeah, let's enable that. I don't even actually have a mic turned on this thing. Menu narration. Wait, menu narration You mean there's menu narration? Speech to text enabled. Turn on speech to text to transcribe other players' voices to text on your device. Okay. Text chat font size default large. I am putting, and that's the holy crap. There's not even like a small option. There's just default and large. Oh my God. Okay, I'm covering up a bit of the settings here, but I gotta at least have this here so I can be able to show you. Chat wheel activation. Adjust whether the chat wheel is invoked by button hold or tap to toggle. Oh, okay, hold or toggle. I'm gonna do hold for that. Lock on activation. Adjust whether lock on is evoked by button holding or toggled or tap to toggle. Ooh, I think I'm gonna do hold for that, because if it works the way I want it to, I can basically like it's kind of like aiming with basically the trigger, and maybe that might work out too great. Vibration enabled. I'm gonna disable that. Heck yes. Holy cow. There is a lot here. Okay. Yes, please. Okay. The fact that oh man, I love games when they do this. They add accessibility options right out of the gate before they even jump into the game itself. So let's actually go back into the options. Let's see what they got. So video. Okay. All right. Okay. So here we go. So this is different than the accessibility options menu, which again, it's right front and center. Accessibility options, I can basically hit X and it goes right into this, which is awesome. And it saves all what I've done set up already, which is great. Okay, so gamma, I can be able to set that. Makes it a little bit darker. Actually, I do like it a little bit brighter. So let's go with, say, 42. Okay, and then let's do audio. Master volume, master music volume, FX control, dialogue volume, voice chat mode. It doesn't really give a description as far as what each does, and I feel like that actually that could be an option for this, like they do in the accessibility menu. But voice chat mode, I'm gonna go with disable because I'm like, I don't want to. I'm a little bit leery about chatting in multiplayer. I'm terrible at it. Voice chat volume. Okay, so it looks like you can be able to adjust a lot of the volume controls, which is great, including the master volume, which is awesome. All right, so controls. Invert Y-axis, invert X-axis. That's great. Camera vertical speed, camera horizontal speed, camera acceleration. That's pretty good, actually. I think I kind of like it right now. So vibration is off. I've already turned that. Switch movement lock sticks. Interesting. Switch movement lock sticks. Oh, or look sticks. Okay. I think it's probably for like if you're like right-handed or left-handed. I'm assuming. It doesn't really give a lot of description. Not gonna lie, I don't know. Camera auto rotation. Sure that. Oh, okay. When enabled, allows camera to automatically rotate to avoid obstacles. Yes, 100%. 100% have that on. Camera lock on rotation. Oh, camera auto rotation. Or camera, when enabled, allows camera to automatically rotate to try and keep locked targets on screen. Yes, 100%. Okay. So camera zoom distance, adjust the follow distance of the camera while in auto mode. Camera will zoom between no off-screen enemies. Adjust the follow distance of the camera. This is for close while in auto mode. Camera will zoom between or no off-screen enemies nearby, and max off-screen enemies are nearby. So it's far, auto, close. Okay, so I'm gonna do auto just to see how that works. Lock on activation, adjust whether the lock on is invoked by button holding or tap to toggle. Talk to dog. Okay, so actually, I think I've had that set in the accessibility settings. Yeah, actually, so they separate the. Looks like they separate the actual settings into what Bleeding Edge believes is like should be accessibility settings. So locked, like I think. Wait, let me see. Lock on activation. Lock on activation, yeah. So it looks like they just kind of separate into that. So it saves based on what I've got. Lock on selection, yes. Cool. All right. Let's see. I think that's all for controls. So input mapping. Awesome. Okay, you can be able to remap pretty much all of the controls. This is great. I like this. All right, UI. Show HUD. Yes. Hide. Okay, show it. Yes, definitely. Social. Allow party invites from anyone. Let's do friends. Because I don't know, but right now, joining your party without an invite. These people will be allowed to join your group without an invite. Okay, yeah, friends. Party members can invite. Enabled. Okay, text chat. Receive whispers. Set whether users can message you directly via text chat. Type whisper to another user. Sure, I'll enable that. Team chat, set whether you're automatically join the team text chat channel when starting a match. You can access this channel by something. Looks like yeah, auto join, fine. Party chat, text chat, font size, it's already set to large. Chat wheel activation is to hold. I think in this case, I'm gonna do just whether the chat wheel is invoked by button hold or tap to toggle. I think for this case, I'm going to use toggle. Okay, so team voice chat. Set whether you automatically join team voice chat when starting a new match. I'm going to disable that. I do not want to do that right now. Party voice chat. Set whether you automatically join the party voice chat channel when in the group. Disabled. Cool. I don't need profile visibility enabled. Users will be able to see your leading bridge profile, including playtime, fighter stats, match history, etc. Public. Yeah, sure, that's fine. I can turn it off, but whatever. So far, that is the settings. That's awesome. I love the accessibility options right front and center, and it's large and in charge. This is awesome. Come on, come on. I can get him. I can get him. Come on, I can get him. Almost. Yeah, I got him. Yeah. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo! So the Bleeding Edge beta weekend is done. It's been a couple of days since I last played, but I wanted to sort of take a few days to sort of ruminate my thoughts on the accessibility because generally I have to sort of say up front that I don't normally play Battle Royale genre type games, basically like Fortnite, Overwatch, Apex, and now Bleeding Edge. Although Bleeding Edge does have a nice little twist that it's more melee than actual like gun battles, but it all kind of comes into essentially it's a dominant PvP multiplayer type game, and these games I usually avoid because no matter how often I practice and I try to get better at, I still don't do well in that kind of sort of matchmaking PvP sort of setting. I will say playing solo is definitely something that I normally do, but I don't think it would be beneficial in this game. It would be better to be able to play with a team, and I'm not that comfortable yet just sort of jumping in with basically random matchmaking. Because it's harder to communicate that I have a disability and that people would care about that in a way. I know that people that I play with have been very sympathetic, but I always feel guilty about sort of jumping into a random team because I know that I'm not going to be able to contribute as much to the match that my other teammates would. And so even like that's also kind of partly why my gamertag, even like right here, this is BlindGamerSteve, so at least they know that they're playing against someone with a disability. But it's really hard for me to be able to want to do that, and I don't want to drag the team down. Essentially, the only game I've ever actually been good at sort of is Destiny, and even then I generally avoid like Crucible matches, or even though Gambit's sort of something that I can at least be able to play because it's not very that's not very PvP heavy as much as Crucible is. But even then, I'm not ranking in any leaderboards anytime soon. So I have to say that basically up front to kind of before I can really kind of give my thoughts, because I'm coming at it from a different perspective than I think most players, even disabled gamers who have already kind of given their thoughts on Bleeding Edge so far. That's where I'm generally coming from. What I do like about how how Ninja Theory basically set up the accessibility options is that it's more an accessibility category than an accessibility menu. A lot of times, a lot of players wouldn't necessarily go to the accessibility menu in order to be able to find settings that would customize the game to their own play style. So being able to like, so a lot of those options can be lost. But what I do like, and a lot of other games have done this as well, but I do like that essentially the Ninja Theory kind of took settings that were in the main settings in general, and they were like, this would be good for accessibility, and then they would put that into the accessibility options menu, but it still is within the main settings. So I like that aspect of it. And I think that's probably the better way to be able to describe accessibility options within the settings, if you can be able to put options that players can normally just choose on their own, but basically categorize them as these are what we think would be accessibility options. That is something I do like. So before I get into my vision accessibility thoughts, I wanted to sort of touch base on a few of the other disability type options that are there. For motor disabilities, I do like the fact that you can be able to remap controls. That is something becoming a little bit more commonplace now in games, but I do like that Bleeding Edge is also taking that and allowing that customization, and as well as basically being able to control the speed and acceleration of certain like the camera movements or your movement itself, basically because and you can be able to be that granular, that basically from a scale of 0 to 100, and you can customize that to whatever works best for you. One thing actually that normally isn't sort of put into an accessibility sort of as an option sometimes, actually, but in this game it does, is that vibration be able to turn on and off. Sometimes that can be able to have an effect on those with motor disabilities. Myself personally, I turn vibration off because it makes it a little bit easier for me to be able to handle the recoil of a gun or any weapon I choose, because it makes it it's a little bit harder for me to be able to aim properly, and this all can also help for motor disabilities. For deaf and hard of hearing, I saw that there was obviously you can be able to change the you can have subtitles and it, at least within the game, there are, like, it just defaults to having a dark background, and the text is generally a high contrast within any dialogue within the game, which is good. I do like that. It was harder for me to be able to sort of see every sort of sound effect that had a visual aspect to it, but from what I can be able to tell, for deaf and hard of hearing, there is it seems that it keeps that those players in mind, so that you can be able to generally play with the sound off, from my understanding. Now granted, this is sort of a very limited time I've had to play with this, so keep that as it were, but it looks like that there are definitely some basic options there that would definitely help those with deaf and hard of hearing. As far as cognitive disabilities, I sort of saw it as it's complex enough, or the UI is sort of complex enough that it doesn't seem to be too overwhelming, and the gameplay is something that can sort of be easily picked up and play for a short period of time, so you're not necessarily playing for hours on end, and that can be draining for those with a cognitive disability. I will say that it is a little bit chaotic when essentially your team and the other team is sort of fighting against each other. That can be a bit difficult for those with a cognitive disability, but I think it's something that there, with a few sort of definitely some options, that what works better for you can be able to customize to be able to make that a little bit less intensive, from what I've been able to see so far. Now granted, a lot of this can be able to change because it is a beta, but so far it just seems that at least for these disability types, there are definitely options there that are not going to, it's not going to be 100% perfect, but at least there are some things you can be able to customize and try it out for yourself. Now, as far as low vision accessibility options in the game, I do have to basically say that my vision is 2200, which does fall into the legal classification of blindness. But basically what that means is that my vision is to me, looks like if something is 20 feet away, to me it looks like it's 200 feet away. And generally the thing that is more important to me is text size. Now, as you can even see within this sort of menu that's in behind me right now, this is just the main menu, as you can be able to tell that accessibility options text on this bottom left corner is pretty large, and it's actually, I'm able to see that generally okay. But then when you look at sort of the my BlindGamerSteve tag in the top right corner, the text size is really small. So from my perspective, it looks like there's a bit of like imbalance as far as what in the UI is like has large text and then balance it with small text. Looks like that there is a default text size that I can be able to see just within my gamer tag, but and on the extreme end is basically the accessibility options, but there's nothing that's kind of like a medium in between, or that they stick with a specific font size. Now granted, this game is coming out in about a month, so the UI seems to be locked in at this point. I don't have a lot of indications as far as that can be improved upon or added in as an additional patch, so I'm hoping that basically Ninja Theory is able to sort of keep that in mind, and they were able to receive quite a bit of feedback on the text size. But that's something that I think would be harder for me to be able to play because of just that I can in a general average, more comfortable setup for me, I can be able to see most text just fine, but on the moments where I need to sort of see the smaller text, it makes it a little bit uncomfortable, and takes me a little bit longer for me to be able to play the game and see things that and the information that I need to see, especially when it's sort of like even in combat and on the HUD, and you take a look at this sort of the top center of the screen, there are moments where essentially like the text was, as far as like what your goal points range was really small and hard to be able to see, contrasted with the environment that it was in. But the only way I can be able to tell whether or not my team or the other team was winning was basically that progress bar that's in the top center. And a lot of people would just say, well, just look at that as far as like how close you are. But if it comes down to where I'm in a situation where it's basically like it's really close, and it basically one sort of collector canister or one waypoint is needed, I wouldn't be able to tell whether or not that we were close to winning or losing, and I wouldn't be able to make that decision on the fly because I can't see what that number is of what that point range is supposed to be. So if I know that, okay, we need 10 points, so I need to be able to basically go find either 1 or 2 waypoints, or find 1 or 2 extra, like I don't know what I can be able to sort of need to be able to get that really quickly. And that's information that I need to sort of see at a glance and be able to make that decision on the fly. So that progress bar, while great, doesn't really fix the problem of that particular part of the UI and HUD. As far as the other colorblind options, I couldn't be able to just really test that out as much as I wanted to. Essentially, it seemed that obviously there was definitely some colorblind options available. And if you do have actually a colorblindness, I want to be able to know your thoughts on it, because that's something that I want to be able to get more information on as far as what would work better for you. Now, generally, I know that blue and orange colors are the better colors when it comes to sort of just a general colorblind options that are available. That's why Rocket League is very well known for its colorblind options, because it sticks with the default of blue and orange, so it's at least differentiating for those with color blindness. But there's when it comes to this game, it seemed that it was sort of like a bluish green sort of color to indicate your team, but then it was a reddish color for the enemies, and that can be difficult for those with either red-green color blindness or just even other sort of different colorblind options, that it may be a little bit hard to differentiate between the two, and you might sort of go after one enemy that you all of a sudden realize it's someone in your team. Even I personally even had that issue when playing this game, because it just got too chaotic. And that's another thing too, is that even within the chaotic aspects of combat, there's a lot of sort of special effects happening all at once. I think with time I can be able to sort of differentiate what each sort of special effect is happening on screen at the same time, but for right now, essentially it's too chaotic. I have no idea what's going on, and that is something that I think it could be a little bit more like would lean me towards like not being able to play, or at least trying to be able to find some friends that can be able to sort of carry me and help me out, and I might need a little extra practice. So just telling my thoughts about the visual accessibility. I like there's other options in there. The dojo / training option is great for those for just any disability type, because it's something that can be beneficial for like if you just want to practice, if you just want to get better at a specific character, or even going up against other characters, like what you can figure out strategies for yourself, like okay, what can I be able to do to be able to fight against this type of enemy. I love that. I love that is available, and that's something that I could probably be able to use and practice in to see if, like how I can be able to interact and counteract certain aspects of the combat. So that's great. I will say that Bleeding Edge and Ninja Theory did an amazing job of trying to be able to add in as many accessibility options as they could into this sort of genre of gameplay that is normally not necessarily known for its accessibility. But I do love the fact that at least they tried to be able to put that front and center and make and they are proud of those settings, and they should be proud. So that's something that I will say just in general. If I had to sort of give like a recommend / not recommend for this game, I would definitely say recommend. Try it out. There's options that are there that can be able to help you customize the game that works best for you. And this is definitely something I would say, yeah, pick up, try out for yourself, and see how you do, and how you're able to customize it to fit your needs, which is great. So that's my thoughts on Bleeding Edge. I want to thank you for watching. And once again, if you want to be able to check out the gameplay video, you can be able to sort of you can be able to there we go. You can be able to check out the video there. It's fun. It's a fun little video. I was kind of proud of, and I think I did okay. I don't know. But I want to thank you for, like, I know this is a bit of a longer video with the settings and my accessibility thoughts, but I appreciate you watching. If you have any comments or have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. I'd love to be able to hear your thoughts even on these type of videos that I've been doing. If you like this video, please give it a like button, because the more people that like it and interact with it, the more it can kind of, the algorithm can be able to pick it up, and more people can be able to watch it and get subscribed to this channel. Speaking of subscribe, you can be able to, if you want to see more of my videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you can be notified as to when new videos come out. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. As always, I remain obediently yours. See you next time. Bye.